There are some places out there in the world where it's as if danger and mystery are lurking behind every corner. We'd like to introduce 10 of them here, but we warn you, this is not for the faint of heart. But if you're brave enough, carry on. Top List presents 10 Creepiest Places on Earth. Number 10. Suicide Forest, Japan. The Suicide Forest is the unofficial name of Aokigahara Forest, which lies on the island of Honshu, Japan. It is notorious for its status as the preferred place where people go to commit suicide. The forest has always been associated with Japanese mythology, which depicted it as the abode of demons and ghosts. It's now the second most popular suicide spot in the world. The first is the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. More than 500 people have taken their own lives in Aokigahara since the 1950s. A notice stands at the entrance. Your life is the priceless gift of your parents. Think about your family. Don't suffer alone. Call us at 22-0110. Number 9. Eikodesawa Fetish Market in Togo. Togo's Eikodesawa Fetish Market is recognized as the largest fetish market in the world, a place where voodoo practitioners can find anything they need for their rituals. Shrunken heads, skulls, and flesh are all wares sold at this market. These are supplies used by those who practice the indigenous religions of the country. Many people believe healers, using animal parts and strange talismans, can invoke spirits with their bizarre rituals and solve their problems. Number 8. Snake Island, Brazil. Ilha Queimada Grande is perhaps the most dangerous and creepiest island in the world. It's covered entirely by forest, has a rocky, uninviting shoreline 200 meters high, and is populated by snakes. Scientists estimate that up to 4,400 snakes live on the 110-acre island, with some reports indicating that you can find one snake for every 6 square yards. The fatal effects of these creatures' venom is instantaneous, and these aren't just any snakes. Ilha Queimada Grande is the only known home of the golden lancehead, one of the most venomous vipers in the world. The snake's venom is said to be 3 to 5 times stronger than that of any mainland snake. Oh, and it's capable of melting human flesh. The local inhabitants recall blood-curdling stories about the place, whilst the Brazilian authorities have now banned anyone from visiting. Number 7. The Catacombs, Paris, France. Below the 12 million residents of the City of Lights lie the remains of 6 million others. The Paris Catacombs are a 200-mile network of old caves, tunnels, and quarries, and much of it is filled with skulls and bones. This is a network of old quarry tunnels beneath the city and the final resting place of around 6 million Parisians. Most are anonymous, taken from the city's overcrowded graveyards in former centuries. Now, tourists can walk through the creepy underground graveyard. Number 6. The Hanging Coffins of Sagada in the Philippines. On Luzon Island in the Philippines, one can find the small village of Sagada. It's arguably one of the scariest places in the country, where one can see evidence of an ancient and very strange funeral custom. Coffins hang high above the ground from the faces of cliffs. The superstition persists among the indigenous population that the higher up a person's body is laid to rest, the closer his soul will be to heaven. Number 5. Plague Island, Italy. Poveglia is one of the most famous islands in the Venetian Lagoon, northern Italy. It is said to have been used as a place of exile for plague victims since Roman times, with as many as 160,000 people buried there. The souls of many of the dead supposedly returned to the place as ghosts. They now occupy every corner of the island. The place's dark history is compounded by stories of terrible experiments which were apparently carried out on patients at the psychiatric clinic that was built there. As a result, some paranormal investigators consider the island to be one of the most terrifying locations on the planet. Number 4. St. George's Church, Czech Republic. This church in the Czech village of Lukova was abandoned in 1968 after part of its roof collapsed during a funeral ceremony. The artist Jacob Hadrava recently placed a collection of terrifying sculptures in the church, giving the place an especially sinister atmosphere. Made of plaster, the ghosts were put into place over the summer of 2014 in the hopes of drawing more tourists to the region, raising money to rehabilitate the historic 1352 church. The plan worked, as people have come from all over the world to see the statues in this unusual environment, and the church will soon be restored to its former glory. Number 3. Chapel of Bones, Portugal. This chapel was built in the 16th century by a Franciscan monk. It is not particularly large, just 18.6 meters long and 11 meters wide, but it contains the bones of 5,000 monks. The phrase "Melior est die mortis, die nativitatis," which translates to "better is the day of death than the day of birth," is written on its roof. To access the Chapel of Bones, one must pass through a door with the following message written over the threshold: "Nosotros que aquí estamos pelos vossos esperamos," roughly translated as "We bones are here, waiting for yours." Number 2. Pripyat, Ukraine. An abandoned city in northern Ukraine near the border with Belarus, Pripyat was founded in 1970 for the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. It had grown to a population of 50,000 before being vacated a few days after the 26th of April 1986 Chernobyl disaster. Because of the radiation, the city cannot be repopulated and remains abandoned today. The view of this ghost town, so empty and lifeless, a city that was abandoned at once without warning, is frightening, surreal, and simply put, creepy. Now before we move on to number 1, if you're not subscribed, click the subscribe button and then click the YouTube bell next to subscribe to get notifications of more amazing videos. Number 1. Island of the Dolls. Hundreds of photographers and thrill seekers travel to the haunted Island of the Dolls every year, but it was never meant to be a tourist attraction. According to local legend, a girl died in the canals surrounding this island. After her death, dolls began to wash onto its shores. The island's only resident, Don Julian Santana Barrera, took to hanging the dolls in honor of the dead little girl. As he grew disturbed, he strung up more dolls, believing they were possessed with the spirits of other dead girls. He did this for some 50 years before meeting his own tragic end. In 2001, his body was found floating in the exact spot where he found the girl years earlier. Even today, 16 years after his own mysterious death in those woods, visitors say they hear whispers in the night and feel the doll's eyes following them through the trees. So, what did you think of our list? Let us know in the comments down below. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to Top List for more countdowns like this one. Thanks for watching.